On Good Morning Anambra. My name is Ajuluchuku Okabwe, and this is how we get to begin our program this lovely Thursday, the 30th day of January 2025. IJ.
Yeah, my name is Ijoma Uche. We welcome you to our Thursday edition of Good Morning Anambra. Welcome.
Well, don't go anywhere. The show is about to begin. We'll just take a little break, and when we come back, we'll begin with the news making headlines on ABS websites. Don't go anywhere. Glad to have you back. Let us begin with the news making headlines on ABS website. And the news that we'll have here is 3-story building collapses in Awka as Soludo warns builders against use of substandard materials.
Another building collapse. Building under construction collapses in Awka. I think it's the same story.
Yeah.
So federal government ready to welcome deported Nigerians from U.S.
That's coming from
NITCOM.
Telecom tariff hike. NLC to hold nationwide protest Tuesday next week.
Police arrest 20-year-old for scalding pregnant sister-in-law in Adamawa. How?
Alleged 110 billion naira fraud. Court overrules Yaya Bello as EFCC calls first witness.
Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso exists ECOWAS.
Over 367,000 Palestinians returned to northern Gaza since Monday.
Wow, this is good news. Very good news indeed. That means we are, at the end of the day, we are beginning to see peace in Gaza. I wonder, casualties, how they'll be counting their casualties now.
And then be thinking of our rebuilding what has been destroyed in the war. Well, let's begin with the first story. 3-story building collapses in Awka as Soludo warns builders against use of substandard materials. I think it's not just a case of builders using substandard materials. I think we could equally say it's a case of quacks, you understand, being around building sites. And probably those that are investing in building, not employing the services of the right professionals, you understand?
Yeah, because there are some buildings that have not collapsed, that when you see them standing, you know that this one will eventually collapse.
Will collapse someday.
Because some will be bending like this,
exactly.
And some the other way, and you keep wondering who made this house. And then they will tell you that when they started with an engineer, wasn't I asked yesterday, sorry, but that was before this one happened in the evening. I said, this kind of building, is an architect and an engineer involved in building this house? They say, well, there was an engineer initially, but he had problem with the owner of the house, that's the landlord, and then he started bringing artisans to come and do, you know, he will have problem with this set of artisans. He will go and bring another one that doesn't even know how the whole thing started. And that was how they patched this 2-story building. One is bending the other way, the other one is bending. You keep wondering, what kind of human beings do we have around here? Well,
it's a case of penny wise, pound foolish.
Telling you.
Federal government ready to welcome deported Nigerians from U.S. Could that be a worrisome story there, or could it be something more like federal government making sure that Nigerians, or reorienting Nigerians, if you need to leave the country, please do it the proper way? Welcoming them, I don't see anything wrong in welcoming them, you understand? But then, at the same time, there are certain things I feel that we should do, rather than, you know, open our hands to those of our own indigenes that are returning back. Is there no case of probably, you know, having this area where you can get Nigerians, sensitize them on the need? Some people go through death-defying means just to leave this country. And it shouldn't be so. You shouldn't die in the process of leaving Nigeria for greener pastures. Those are the areas where we need to begin to address. Rather than when they find themselves there through illegal means, we will now be quick to welcome them back. Whereas we didn't even put them through the normal. Leaving the country or seeking greener pasture should be desire, like it should be your own desire, but the environment should be conducive enough for you to just, go through it. I really don't understand.
Yeah,
we are so quick to welcome them, and yet we don't do anything.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at the situation whereby it's only Africans that are deported from different parts of the world. I'm telling you. So have you ever heard that this one country is deporting the Americans there, or one country is deporting the Germans?
Rather, they are the ones leaving
there
when there is political uprising and the rest of it, or so they will send...
Yes. So if there's this mass exodus from your country, won't you sit down and find out why they're leaving, and what is it that is the place that is in the place they're going, so that you try to put it in place here and let them be. We need the population. We need the hands, the professionals that are leaving. Most of them are professionals.
Yeah, and these people that leave the country are even the good ones that you need.
That's what I said. Most of them are professionals.
The ones you don't need are here causing mayhem and the rest of it. So I think...
So try to put your country in order. So people will have need to... Look at the Burkina Faso and Mali, all those ones that exist in ECOWAS now. People migrate. Your people from the... What do you call yourself again? The giant of Africa. Are migrating from giant of Africa to the...
mushroom of Africa.
I don't know how to put it. Because they have met everywhere very conducive. Their GDP, you can't even look at... you can't compare them with what we see here. So why won't people migrate from this country to that country? Very soon you hear that Mali is deporting Nigerians. Kenya is deporting Nigerians. This is what you hear. What an insult.
Well, police arrest 20-year-old for scalding pregnant sister-in-law in Adamawa State. Some of these stories, when you see them, you begin to wonder, is it the frustration of the government that is playing its role on individuals, Because people are being pushed to the wall. And then you see, as humans, we want to fight back. And then because of that aggressive nature of what the system has built in us, we just lash out at people, even when it's most unnecessary. We've had cases of, not too long ago, a man setting the wife ablaze, and there was even another one that happened to a 74-year-old woman that was, set ablaze too. So, in the same time, now you're reading about a 20-year-old boy scalding a pregnant sister-in-law. What is happening?
I don't understand.
Sincerely speaking,
People are agitated. That's one thing you know. Frustration everywhere.
Yeah.
So very little thing, there will be this spark. You keep wondering.
We're just looking for the catalyst,
Yes, is it this because of this little thing that you are doing this? But the person is already agitated within for a very long time because of the situation of things. Not just the situation of things, the economic situation of things in the country. These are the areas we need to look in. And then a whole lot of people are crazy. I'm sorry to say it. A lot of people are not stable. There are so many unstable human beings around us. We need to check that out and be careful when you are dealing with people.
Alleged 110 billion naira fraud. Court overrules Yaya Bello as EFCC calls first witness.
Okay, we'll move on. Let's keep watching them.
We've already talked about Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso exiting ECOWAS. Well,
no, we have not. So I'm looking at a situation. No, we gave them as an example that their economic situation in their country is getting better than most of the big ones in Africa.
And this is a military junta that we have in there.
Yeah, but this exiting from ECOWAS, there was a day, was it on Monday or Tuesday that we saw it? I think ECOWAS is being asked not to allow them to exist or to beg them not to exist or something like that. I can't really remember what it was. That day I was saying, you should go and ask these guys not to exist because they're the ones that wanted to exist. It's not like they're being chased out. They want to exist, ECOWAS. And then in fact, just like what we're saying about people leaving their country to another man's country, you find out what is their grievances. Why are they leaving ECOWAS? Are they better off being outside or inside? And then if somebody can leave a regional corporation like that, then you should know that something is not working right. Something is not right with the whatever you call it, ECOWAS. And try to fix it.
There was even a memo sent to those countries that the citizens of those countries that they can still make use of their ECOWAS passports to work, and that people from West Africa can equally go to these countries and trade and do business so long they are not violating the laws of the country. So as it stands now, they might be officially, in quote, out of ECOWAS, but that doesn't stop trade, commerce from happening between ECOWAS countries and then citizens alike until further notice. So let us wait to see what sanctions
if you are not a member of ECOWAS, why will you benefit from ECOWAS?
Let's wait and see if there will be sanctions maybe in the nearest future.
Who is sanctioning who? Are the people sanctioning ECOWAS?
For now, you can still make use of you can with your ECOWAS passport, you can still go to Burkina Faso, Mali, and nobody will.
Not those guys.
You can still move. And even them too can come to other countries, you understand? So until further notice, as stated in that memo. Quickly, let's begin with our paper for review this morning, and we'll be starting with the Daily Times. The banner headline there says, thugs invade PDP National Secretariat over Anyanwu Ude Okoye fight.
Okay, I'm from Punch. We'll say this other story. Okay, it's PDP saying PDP governors plan summit as leaders exchange blows at a BOT meeting. Let's look at the riders and see if we can make something different. Party restrains warning factional secretaries from performing duties. APC mocks opposition party. They should mock you. Why should you have two secretaries, fighting, for one space? Let's go on.
Yeah, let's see what we have here on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. How federal government botched prosecution of 888 terror suspects. That's coming from Babadoko and DPPF. And the writer there says poor investigation, evidence collection, witness intimidation, secret trial hampering conviction, limited forensic technological capabilities on an obstacle as lawyers rise concerns over trial conviction. We did our job. Courts decide who's convicted or acquitted. That's coming from the AGF's office. We also have the federal government secures $1.1 billion AFDB loan to power 5 million people by 2026. That's coming from the presidency, from the president. Alleged electoral fraud, courts revokes bail, issues arrest warrants on Uni Uyo professor. Daily Independence. Okay,
from Daily Independence, we'll have the story, Telecom tariff hike. Labour to stage nationwide protest February 4th with a rider there. Cautions federal government, NCC now to halt implementation. And then I think we'll have to talk on this one. We'll come back from telling you what's in all the papers. Another story of interest here says President Tinubu embodies essence of desperation. Atiku is saying that. Okay.
Let's see what we have in the Guardian newspaper. And then the banner headline still talking. Neglected Tropical Diseases Day. Spike in ailments pushes Nigerians' care funding gap to 8.6 trillion naira. And then we have security economic concerns. ECOWAS confirms Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali's withdrawal. I think there's every need to even show security concern because some of the intels gotten about marauding terrorists and bandits caught in Chad and on some parts of northern Nigeria. They say that there have been some extraction of those bandits being from Mali, you understand? They had some rebels that were, empowered to, wield arms and the rest of it all. Now that
are they Malians?
Yeah, they are Malians.
They came in through Mali.
They came in through. They are Malians probably wanting to fight, have regional control of one area, but the military junta now came and overpowered them, so they left. So they are now looking for safe haven where they can go and be terrorizing. So I think there's every need for that economic and security summit to actually hold. So if you guys are going to be leaving ECOWAS, we really need to know, understand what capacity, talking about security.
Where do we draw the lines,
in security,
our border
exactly.
areas.
So we really need to actually do that. Well, that's a good one coming from there. Well, okay. I don't think there's much on Daily Trust newspaper other than...
the story of the PDP and their shenanigans.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Look at Tribune, Nigeria Tribune.
Nigerian Tribune.
I think it's the same thing.
Same thing, yeah. So quickly, let's just talk about this telecom tariff hike. Labour to stage nationwide protest February 4. Do we need to take this with a pinch of salt, or do we really need to begin to say, Eureka, somehow we're going to be having some form of, let's say, respite now that Labour is talking tough about going on strike. Because this 50% telecom hike, based on the fact that most state governors have not even implemented the so-called 70,000 minimum wage, and then telecommunication companies are coming to tell you that you guys will be, expected to. You guys are expected to.
Who is expecting what? You sure they have not started? Because people are now complaining that you put 1,000 naira airtime, you make 1 or 2 calls, it's gone.
It's gone.
And they start wondering what happened to it. You know what usually happens in Nigeria? Once they make up their mind to do something and they have the support of those in power, you are just wasting your time trying to stop them. Okay, but the fact remains, I read somewhere where somebody was captured. I mean, where it was captioned, toothless bulldog labor. I read it yesterday and I started laughing. I said, you see what happened when you keep doing something and feeling that you can always get away with it. Okay, at a stage, it becomes who you are. You call for strike today and people are geared up to do that. In the next few hours, you call it off. Okay? And then you keep making utterances that you cannot, you cannot defend. That's exactly what Labour has turned to now. Nobody's taking you serious again. Otherwise, I know what it used to be in the past when Labour said they were going on strike. The whole nation will stand up and be begging and negotiating. Nobody negotiates with them because they know where your negotiation ends. Perhaps they feel that what they have given you, if at all, has subsided and you want more. That's why you are trying to do this. And then they say, don't worry about Labour. We know how to settle them. So is that what we have become recently?
Well, let's glance through the last paper we have for review, and that's This Day newspaper. And the banner headline is talking about, at Lake Chad Governors Forum, Tinubu seeks multifaceted response to security threats. That's interesting. We have the writers there saying charges states to improve security by tackling poverty, other root causes of insecurity. Stakeholders express commitment towards tackling challenges. And at the mast, you have Obanikoro accuses Access Bank of using his property as collateral for 1 billion naira loan without his consent. Is that actually possible?
Everything is possible here, AJ. Everything is possible.
And then we have GHL Floors First Bank as courts vacates Mareva injunction. Directors seek damages. Wow, that's interesting, yeah.
Okay, this at Lake Chad Governors Forum, Tinubu seeks multifaceted response to security threats. How does he want to do this now? That will have this challenge. We have talked about that, but I'm looking at a situation whereby somebody or some people or some delegates will be sent to talk to these young juntas and see if there's any way we can pacify them and bring them back to the big fold. Because if you want to talk about insecurity coming from that angle, from that region, there's no two ways about it. It must. So at a stage like this, you see that ECOWAS has a lot in their hands. What we have going on in so many ECOWAS nations, they have not been able to do anything. Okay, what if it becomes multifaceted like they said it? It's going to be horrible in this region. I mean, the West African region.
But talking about insecurity, every region has its own fair share of insecurity issues. And you can't say that what is being experienced in Lake Chad is the same thing, or rather in Chad, is the same thing as we experience here. Because over the years, over time, we've discovered, we've heard intels, we've seen the cases where governments don't actually manage the soldiers in the war front in fighting this insurgency, because you hear cases of where soldiers are not being paid, some of them are not duly equipped. You find the terrorists having more sophisticated weapons, and then your Nigerian soldiers are having something more like what a ragtag vigilante groups will have. And then you expect these people to go there and use themselves as, let's say, bulletproof vests. It doesn't work like that. So we need to come in, invest more. When I mean invest more, we need practical investment in fighting insecurity. And I'm happy that it was equally stressed in this year meeting that poverty is one of the reasons why we are having insecurity here too.
But are we poor? When somebody came out the other day to say that we have all the money in the world for the president to fund president's movement, whatever he wants to go with his entourage. Okay, are we really poor? I don't think we are poor in this nation. So, but that's another thing.
So it's a case of mismanaging the funds that we have. So
in Igbo parlance, they say, no, your house is on fire, you're busy chasing after rats. You understand? You don't do that kind of a thing. Have you secured your nation?
That is
We're talking to all the presidents of the African nations. Have you done what you're supposed to do to secure your nation before you now stepped out to the regional front? You understand?
And now, what happens in Nigeria definitely affects what happens in West Africa and Africa generally, whether good or bad. So if insecurity is ravaging Nigeria, and then greater part of it, it's definitely going to have a, will I say, a spillover effect on our neighboring countries, Cameroon, Togo, the likes of it, Niger up north, and then what we call it, Lake Chad and the rest of it all. So if we don't come up and now say that we want to do a thorough clean-up job on these things and then attack this thing head-on, definitely, West Africa can't afford to see Nigeria in total turmoil, because where would you have 200 million people go seek refuge when your next door neighbor in Togo here is less than 10 million?
When those that left are being deported.
Yeah, when Togo here, that means we might even overrun most of our neighbors. If we have internal issue here, we might overrun our neighbors. So there's every need for us to tackle this thing head on. So let me believe that President Tinubu knows actually what to do in order to get these things sorted out.
Yeah. And I think that's where we're drawing the curtain on today's edition of the Press Review. You can still go out to pick the papers and get details of all the headlines that were lined up for you this morning. Thank you very much for watching. I am Ijoma, and I have AJ.
Yeah, well, the discussion segment is just a few minutes away, where we'll be talking about a whole lot concerning, well, agriculture this time around. Do join us and get to learn a thing or two. Well, the show continues in a short while. Don't go anywhere.